When I walked out of that courthouse, I remember the sky being gray, the kind of gray that makes you feel like even the heavens are tired of watching you cry. The papers in my hand said divorced, but it felt more like defeated. 6 years of marriage, and all it took was one cruel sentence from Tom to end it all. "You can't give me a child, Lydia. What's the point of this marriage anymore?" Those words echoed in my head every night. I gave that man my best years, my loyalty, my body, my soul. And all he saw was my womb that refused to cooperate. We had tried everything. Doctor visits, herbal teas, prayers that never left the ceiling. Every negative pregnancy test felt like a funeral for another dream. And every month he grew colder. He stopped touching me, stopped talking to me, stopped seeing me. The worst part wasn't the silence. It was how he looked at me when I cooked, when I smiled, when I cried. Like I was a failure wrapped in a woman's skin. He refused every suggestion to get tested himself. "I'm fine," he said. "My father had 4 kids. The problem isn't me." So I carried the blame. Alone. When we finally signed the divorce papers, I remember whispering, "Tom, one day you'll regret giving up on me." He didn't even look back. After the divorce, I moved into a small apartment near my sister. The walls were thin, and the nights were long. I used to lie in bed and wonder if maybe Tom was right. Maybe I really couldn't be a mother. Maybe I was broken. Then one rainy evening, fate stepped in. I had gone to a local cafe to escape the loneliness of my empty apartment. I sat by the window, staring at the rain, my coffee long gone cold. That's when I heard a voice, deep, calm, and warm. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" I looked up, and there he was. Daniel. He had gentle eyes, the kind that don't just look at you, but into you. I shook my head, and he sat down. He was reading a book I loved, The Alchemist. That started a conversation that went on for hours. He didn't ask about my past. He didn't judge the sadness in my eyes. He just listened, really listened, as if every word I said mattered. For the first time in years, I laughed. Not politely, but the kind of laughter that comes from deep inside your chest, where the pain used to live. That night, as we walked out into the drizzle, he offered me his umbrella. I said, "It's fine. It's just rain." He smiled and said softly, "Maybe, but even the strongest hearts need shelter sometimes." Those words stayed with me. We started seeing each other often. Coffee dates that turned into long walks, movie nights that turned into heart-to-heart talks. Daniel was patient. He never pushed, never pried. He'd send me texts like, "Hope your heart feels lighter today." He treated me like I was more than my scars, like I was worthy of being loved again. One night, after months of friendship, he came over with dinner. We talked for hours, laughed until tears rolled down my cheeks, and when I looked into his eyes, I saw something I hadn't felt in years: safety. He reached for my hand, hesitated, and whispered, "I don't want to fix you, Lydia. I just want to stand beside you while you heal." That night, we shared something deeper than passion. It was connection. It was warmth. It was the first time I felt truly wanted, not for what I could give, but for who I was. Weeks later, I started feeling different. Stronger. Happier. But also nauseous. At first, I thought it was the stress. But when I missed my period, something told me to check. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor, staring at the test. 2 pink lines. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook as tears filled my eyes. I laughed. I cried. I whispered, "Thank you, God. Thank you." For years, I begged for this miracle. And now it came not through pain or pressure, but through peace. It wasn't my body that had failed. It was the man who didn't have the patience to wait for the blessing. 6 months later, I was glowing, literally. My belly had grown, and so had my joy. Daniel was over the moon. He talked to my belly every night, calling our baby Little Miracle. I had moved on from my past. Or so I thought. Until that day. I was at the grocery store, picking baby formula and fruit. I was humming to myself when I heard a voice I hadn't heard in months. "Lydia." My body froze. My heart knew that voice. I turned, and there he was. Tom. He looked thinner, older, tired. His eyes scanned me from head to toe before stopping on my belly. "You're pregnant." I nodded slowly. He took a shaky breath, his eyes widening. 6 months. I could see him doing the math in his head, his lips trembling. "So it's mine." For a moment, I saw something break inside him, a flicker of hope mixed with confusion. I took a deep breath. My voice was calm, but my heart was racing. "No, Tom. It's not yours." He stared at me as if the ground beneath him had vanished. "But you couldn't, you said." "I could," I said softly. "I always could. The doctors tried to tell us to get tested together, but you refused. You were so sure it was me. You made me believe I was the problem. But I wasn't, Tom. I never was." He swallowed hard, his eyes glistening. "Then whose?" "His name is Daniel," I said quietly. "He's the man who taught me what love feels like when it's patient." Tom took a step back, shaking his head, tears forming in his eyes. "So, I was the one." I nodded. "Yes, you were the one who couldn't have children, and the one who couldn't wait to find out the truth." For a long time, he said nothing. Then his voice cracked. "I ruined us, didn't I?" I nodded again. "You did. But you also freed me to find the happiness you never gave me." Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "Does he make you happy?" I smiled softly. "He doesn't make me happy, Tom. He adds to the happiness I built for myself." He nodded slowly, his voice barely audible. "Take care of her, of both of you." I smiled sadly. "Goodbye, Tom." And as I walked away, I didn't feel anger, only peace. Because the same man who once broke me was now watching me carry the proof that I was never broken. Moral of the story: patience isn't just about waiting, it's about believing. Tom's pride cost him the greatest gift of his life, because he couldn't wait long enough to see the miracle love was preparing for him. Never rush what God is still building, and never blame someone for what time was meant to heal. Because sometimes the one who walks away in pain is the one who walks into their blessing. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful emotional stories about love, heartbreak, and second chances.